welcome to the WDEX show, the Wired Differently experience. Man, I'm excited. I had like a false run when I was practicing earlier about a half hour ago, and a bunch of you jumped on, so I got to apologize for that. But welcome back. Welcome to the WDEX show, the Wired Differently experience. You know my name. My name is Todd Saylor, and I am the author of the book, The Brand in the Attitudinal Disorder, Wired Differently. That's right. And we watch this show, and you know my job, well, we kind of say it together now. My job is to encourage you, to love you, to inspire you, and to teach you some things. And the show's job, just to kind of get you up to speed, is to challenge the status quo. The show's job is challenge you to challenge the status quo, to not be average in the things that you do. You know, we need that more than ever right now. You know, you look at the things that are going on around the world, but your job as far as tonight goes in this brief 20 to 30 minutes is to kind of sit back, enjoy yourself, and kind of think about things. Because I'm always asking you to be, do, and think differently. That's the most important thing that the Wired Differently brand can do for you is to continue to push yourself around into places where you're not constantly falling back into the herd or doing things that everybody else is doing it the same way they're doing it. It's just not always the good thing to do. I mean, most of the time we got to take that road less traveled, right? We've read that story. We've heard that poem. And Wired Differently is a kind of a takeoff in that in many regards, because Wired Differently is an attitudinal disorder. It's our ability to push back. It's our ability to be different. It's our ability to understand it's not just the efforts that we make in this world, but more so the distances that we're willing to go. And we do that with our attitudinal disorder component of ourselves, because, you know, I've got this book out called Wired Differently, Drift Again. And if you can see it, the lights are kind of bright. And it's my second book, and it's talking about a lot of things. But on this show, I'd like to challenge you with different things, and we're going to kind of touch a few things in the book there tonight. But tonight's topic is called Til Def Dew Us Part, 3 types of partnerships. And I thought, well, you know, my show, I want everyone to understand when I do this show, I want you to understand I try to create a self-help awareness component to the show. I want to create a entrepreneurial side of the show for each topic. And then I also want to kind of bring in the spiritual side of things. So if I can touch all 3 of those things in this show, then we've got a great show. And so when you pick topics, it's a little bit interesting, but most of my topics are going to be entrepreneurial based, and they're going to be kind of this whole situation about how to be, do, and think differently. Well, tonight's show is Til Def Dew Us Apart, and I got to tell you, I was inspired. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I was inspired by my baby. So if you guys all saw that, oh, man. So here's the deal. I'm in Angola, Indiana, and I got my studio here, and I'm really feeling pretty good about it. And it's been a while since I went on, so I'm going to do a show. So I wrote this show, and I kind of put it up, and I started thinking about, you know, Til Def Dew Us Part, and kind of had it in the back of my head for quite a while now. And this is actually an image of my wife, my Tracy, and I at Chattanooga. We were just kind of on our way back from Angola, Indiana, on one of our trips, and we were taking a vehicle back through, and we took a 2-day weekend there in Chattanooga. And we've been married 33 years. And now I just want you to know that this isn't about our marriage. So, I mean, I'm just kind of using my wife right now to get some views. That's kind of sad, right? But partners are partners, and my wife is my number one partner. But we took this picture out on a bridge, and I just thought it was super cool. And I thought, you know, Til Def Dew Us Part. 3 types of partnerships. So one of the partnerships we're going to talk about is possibly your partnership, your marriage, your partnership with your wife, your partnership with your husband, your partner, whoever you may be married to in any different ways. And that's just one of the examples. But I wanted to just kind of get it out there that my wife has no idea that I'm doing this show tonight. She has no idea that I'm using this image, and if she's watching, she's like, take that picture down. We don't kiss that long. Well, yes, we do. Just doesn't tell the kids. So anyways, let me get this down, baby. I'm sorry. Til Def Dew Us Part, and I guess we're going to be testing that tonight. Well, here we are. So I kind of want to talk about this whole idea of entrepreneurship and businessship. And one of the things that I think most people need to know when they're going into business is really, are you a business person or are you an entrepreneurial person? And I think the idea of partnerships comes with this whole understanding of who you are. You know, what is your makeup? How are the things that drive you work? And when you're in the business environment, I think that you can really take that down the middle. You can say you're more of a business-oriented person or you're more of an entrepreneurial-oriented person. Myself, I'm an entrepreneurial-oriented person. I have business pieces to me, but my core is entrepreneur. And I'm going to explain to you what that means real quick. But a lot of people have more of a business core to them. So I think you need to have both an entrepreneurial spirit and a business spirit to you to be successful in business. But I think there's a big difference between a person who is in business and then a person who is in entrepreneurial mindset and in business. So an entrepreneurial mindset business person is someone more like me who wants to take risks, wants to take chances, wants to do something differently, right? Different is an adjective and differently is an adverb. And we want to put action to a noun or an adjective, and we want to make it differently. So I'm differently. So we're wired differently, right? So an entrepreneur is a little wired differently in that respect. They want to make sure that they create something that's new, something that's newer, not just the same thing. And I'm not saying it's bad to be more of a business person than an entrepreneur. I'm just saying I think you need to know who you are, because an entrepreneurial person, he's like, or she's like, hey man, I'm going to create this really cool thing, right? I'm going to make this really cool thing. And someone's seen things like it, but I'm going to make it do it this way. We're going to kind of do it this way in our environment because our community is this way, and we're going to make it work. Well, that entrepreneurial person is more excited about making that product work than they are to really make money on it, because they know that when the product works, they get this self-gratitude. They've helped people. They made a product that passes things around to the community or the marketplace. And then money generally follows if it's really a good idea and it works. So then the business acumen falls into after the product works, or this creating alignment of an entrepreneurial mindset to do a product. Now, a business person is more like, let's say the entrepreneurial mindset was me, right? And I decided I wanted to create a hamburger. Well, you know what? Hamburgers have been around quite a while. But I didn't do it the traditional way. I ended up actually naming a hamburger a donut. So I said, hey, we're going to make a hamburger. We're going to call it a Tom's Donut Brisket Prime Rib Burger. And we're going to put it in a location that's never had a hamburger before. And we're going to put it in an area that's never really bought a hamburger before. And we're going to try something really new. And so the rush of that hamburger idea of making it work was the fact that it finally worked. It took us, if you're Tom's Donut people, it took us, I don't know, man, it took us over half the summer to really finally figure out where we wanted to go and how we could do it. And I want to thank all of you for hanging on, you Toms that are going to be watching this. But listen, if you go out there to that Tom's Hamburger now, you are going to get the perfect burger every time, perfect formula every time, service every time, because it took us 4 months to dial down the operational side. But it's a new burger. Why? It takes time. It's a new idea because it takes time. It's a new process because it takes time. It's a new entire place to sell it because it takes time and practice, and this entrepreneurial spirit of this guy who did it, man, had to get in and keep doing it, right? But a business person, and again, I'm just saying, I want you to know who you are before you can become who you want to be, right? But let's say you don't want to take the risk of changing a burger from a donut to a brisket burger, and you don't want to take the risk of the challenge of the traffic count not being just right, and you don't want to take the risk of maybe the POS system not working and learning all those things. Maybe you just want to run the business and make a lot of money at it. Well, in that case, I would send you to my good friend, Rick D. Mann. He knows how to do franchises like nobody's business. He is one of the best McDonald's franchisors, him and his wife, Susan, man, in the stinking damn planet. I mean, they've got the formula down. They went in, they made their investment, and now they've not just have one, but they have probably 8, hell, 10 for all I know what they've got now. But so that's the difference. Now, it doesn't mean a business person can't be entrepreneurial. It doesn't mean an entrepreneurial person can't be a business person. I think it takes a little bit of both to become great at what you're going to do. So that's just kind of this concept. So if you don't really know what you are, you can't really know what you're going to be. And so that's the introductory story of how we're going to get to the 3 types of partnerships. So now, Till Death Do Us part is this idea of understanding when we go into partnerships, we need to own it. I don't care if you're making McDonald's burgers, you're making Tom's Donuts brisket burgers. I don't care if you're farming. I don't care if you're making jewelry. Whatever you're doing with somebody or someone else that you became a partner with, you got to give them it your all, especially if it's your marriage, right? And so that's why I kind of threw the Till Death Do Us part in there, is because, you know, marriage is the quintessential perfect partnership of all 3 things that I'm trying to accomplish tonight. And I'll close with that. One is the partnership of a contractual, the partnership of being a friend, partner, and the partnership of your Lord and Savior. So if we can get all 3 of those things in, we can consider it a win. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is the 3 types of partnerships. So now, you know, if you're kind of bent on risk a little bit, and you know if you're kind of bent on business a little bit, right? So now we're working through this, and I want to introduce you to the 3 types of partnership. The 3 types of partnerships. And what I would tell you that there's only 2 kinds of partnerships, the one that is bad and the one that becomes bad. You know, that's kind of the impetus of what this speech really has done for me. I look at my marriage, and it's of 33 years, and that's my number 1 partnership. She's my number 1 partner in business, my number 1 partner in life, and my number 1 partner in my walk with the Lord. But man, when I tell you there's only 2 kinds of partnership, not 3 types, but 2 kinds, there's the partnership that is bad, because I know we're all either in them or we're going to be in them, right? And so I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit. You know, we've got to get ready for that. We need to understand that when we're dealing with partnerships, that there is a difficult side to partnership. Matter of fact, I'm almost guaranteeing you, you're going to have a difficult time in a partnership. And so when you pick a partner out of these 3 types of partner types, you got to understand what you're going into. Are you more risk? Are you less risk, right? Are you business or are you entrepreneur? So here we go. There are 3 types to talk about today. So let's get positive and get this thing going. Here we go. The 3 types: a non-contract partner, a contract partner, and a built partnership. A non-contract partner, a contract partner, or a built partnership. And I'm going to talk you through these 3 types, but one of them is going to be my preferred partnership because I'm an entrepreneurial mindset. And I think that a lot of us can learn from what I've actually failed at and what I have done very well at. I've been fortunate enough in my life to be at the point now where I'm basically paying myself to pick good partners. I mean, I'm past building a lot of different companies and creating all these new kind of ideas and making them work. And I'm into building a brand and all these other companies and sharing a lot of this stuff that I've encountered. But we've got to understand what type of person we are, where we're going, and that's another conversation for another day that's deeper. But are you more risk or less risk? Because the type of partners that you pick in this process are going to change through time. So the first type of partner I want to talk to you about is the non-contract partner. And this is any entrepreneur, any business person, anybody with an employee. And any marriage you weigh into before you get married, you are with a non-contract partner. And I think it's important for everyone to understand that for the most part, almost everybody you deal with in your normal day in life that you're working with, that's vesting in the same gains that you have, are your partners. I think basically in March of 2020 long went this idea of employers treating employees like less than they were partners. We were never really anything other than treating our employees as partners. But I want everyone to understand that if someone's working with you, if someone's in your business, if you're dating somebody, you're courting somebody, if someone is vested into your outcome or your gain in life and you're working alongside with them, they are non-contract partners. And in the dictionary, I'll even tell you, a person who shares with another in some action or endeavor is the definition of a partner. And I think we get caught up a lot of times wondering, where's the contract? How's this going to work? How are we going to do this? Here's your employment agreement. Here's your non-compete. Here's your non-solicit. Here's this. Here's that. Here's this. Well, at the end of the day, common sense for a non-contract partner is the way you're going to start your life off in an entrepreneurial business mindset role all the time. People don't work for you, right? Listen to me. People don't work for you. I'm going to tell you, I see myself on the screen right now. Todd, people don't work for you. They work for themselves and their families. And so we need to understand that those non-contract partners are to be treated just the same as partners that are contractual or built partners. They are just as important, and we as employers need to understand that we've got to shift it. We've got to be much more conscious about it than what we ever had been in the past. And I'm doing it myself. So I'm challenging you all that are in business or in budding businesses as we come out of this COVID stuff and moving through time. Don't give up. But when you get your first employee, they're your first partner. But they're non-contractual partners. I mean, they can go and come anytime they want. And so can you. You can go and come anytime you want. But that's a non-contractual partner. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because, you think about a non-contractual partner, it just means that you only owe them yourself. You don't owe them your money. You don't owe them your success. They don't owe you their life. They don't owe you anything other than what you've agreed to do on a daily basis in a non-contractual way, and you're just working off of trust. So partnership number one is a non-contract partner. And matter of fact, it's probably the most important partnership we're going to really talk about, because you can't ever have a real partner in any other format unless you have mastered the non-contractual partnership with this person. And so I know I'm a little different than a lot of people, but I'm constantly processing people in my mind. I'm constantly processing people who work with me, my partners, my non-contracted partners in my mind. And I'm looking at them and I'm wondering how I'm affecting them. I'm wondering how they're affecting me and how they're affecting others. And I know it gets harder. So then you have to empower people within your organization to think of the same mindset. Non-contracted partners all need to be treated the same from the top down. And so when you adapt this idea of sharing partnerships in a non-contracted way and not treating them or calling them employees because they don't work for you, write that one down. Listen, none of your employees work for you. Just forget it. Don't ever be in a point where you say, I've paid you, you owe me this. It's just, it may be true, but they're working for themselves so they can provide for their family. And it's your job as an owner, entrepreneur, business person to provide the best possible living in the best possible work environment for them, because you are going to realize the multitude of the gains because you've invested the money. And they know that. But we need to treat them like partners, non-contracted partners. I don't want to beat that one up anymore, but the dictionary clearly says, what's a partner? A person who shares with another in some action or endeavor. So we don't need a damn contract to have a partner. Number one, I want you as employers and people, and I want you people that are not owners of companies to understand, that's right, you work for yourself and your family, and you do a great job at it, and I need your owner to understand that he works for you. His job is to make your life better. And once that partnership is aligned, great things happen, man. I've seen it happen in my life so many times. It's so exciting. But I will tell you this, when you start to treat your employees like partners, don't do what I've done on several occasions. Don't forget it. Because once you bring them into that family feeling and that great high of being partners with Todd Saylor, Tom's Donuts, PayServe, Staffing, You Matter, Factoring, Insurance, any of these companies, and then you stop treating them that way or don't have a mechanism to treat them that way, then they feel left out, right? So I know a lot of owners that just won't actually get as close to these non-contracted partners mindset that we're talking about because they can't see themselves keeping up with it from a processing perspective. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want you to be that person that doesn't build mechanisms to maintain that relationship with your employees. I don't want them back here. I want them up here. And I want you realizing what your role is with them. Non-contracted partners, partners number one. This is the field where all your contracted partners, number two, what we're going to get to, generally come from. So contract partners, a person associated with another as a principal and contributor of capital, sharing, and risk or profits. Now, a contracted partner, I mean, we all get it. And this is where I went from just dating my wife as a partner. Remember, I showed you her up. I know some of you are just getting on here in the beginning of the show. I said, hey, this isn't a marriage counseling show, but I kind of lured you in with this marriage picture of my wife, Till Death Do Us Part. So non-contracted partners, if you will, is that period where you're dating your girlfriend or you're dating your mate or you're dating your boyfriend. There's no contract. There's no marriage certificate, right? We're sharing time and space with somebody that we care about, and we want to reciprocate those things in mutual respect. But now we move into the contracted partnership role. Well, the contracted partnership role is a more serious role. That's where we were dating for a while, and we were doing certain things, and we were kind of sharing certain things, and all of a sudden we said, hey, we're going to sign a contract. In that particular situation with my wife, it was a marriage certificate in 1988. She was my partner for 4 or 5 years, and then we signed a marriage certificate contract. It's a contract. Oh, yeah, you sign it. You sign your name. You went to marriage counseling. You signed on the dotted line. You said, till death do us apart. And then you share everything down the middle. And then you make babies. And then the babies go all over here. And then they take your money and they put it over here. And then everything's kind of crazy. You're like, wow, we signed a contract. Till death, we got to support each other no matter what. We got to stay together. We can do this. And I know, but you're driving me crazy, Todd. I'm sorry, but it's just I'm wired differently. Okay, I get it. And then all of a sudden the kids grow up and they give you grandbabies and you're like, woo, I'm glad I signed that contract. Oh, I'm in so much trouble with the show. So, hey, a contract is this. Now, I got a partner and I need some money to start another business, and he's got about $1 million, another guy's got $1 million, we throw it in the middle, and we got $1 million, and all of a sudden we got a company, but we got contracted partners. Till death do us apart. Man, and I'm telling you what, these dudes are serious. You know why? Because they bring bankers, and they bring accountants, and then they bring contract and paper and more paper and audits and IRS and all kinds of stuff. It's like getting a colonoscopy to get into a partnership. But once you're in it, woo, you're down the middle and you got him and he's got them and you got them. But hey, you know what? You did something wrong. I got it in the contract. You owe me money. I digress. What I tell you about? There's only two types of contracts, right? There's only two types of partnership. It's the partnership that is bad and the partnership that's going to have some bad times. I'm not a big person on business partnerships. But as I've gotten more successful in time, I've learned that there is a need for partnerships. And so I want to encourage you to understand how to get into, or some of the minor things you should be thinking about becoming in a contractual partnership with anybody. I've had a lot of people want to go into partnerships with me, but I'm an entrepreneurial mindset, right? And I don't need another entrepreneurial mindset in my entrepreneurial mindset world, because we're just both making ideas that are going all over heck and nobody's getting anything done. I mean, red ball, there's Todd, he's gone. And what if we got another guy that's red ball and he's gone, he's running across the street for the same thing? You don't want that. But partnerships, contractual partnerships, are necessities for many, many people. And I've found that it's worked out for me, and we're going to get to that in partnership number 3, because partnership number 1 is something I live in every day. The most quintessential, most important thing I probably taught you tonight: non-contractual partnership. Number 2 is the contract partnership, the contract that I just went goofy on, the contract that I signed with my baby Tracy Saylor. Baby, let's go. Tracy Joe Foltz. Let's be now one. It's Tracy Joe Foltz. And then when we signed the contract, it was Tracy Joe Saylor. Changed her whole name in that contract. Now, who's got the bigger, better end of the deal in that? I think she changed her name, moved some things around. I digress. So the contractual partnership. Now, listen, if you're an entrepreneurial type of person or a business person, if you feel like you're going to go into a partnership, I want you to understand one basic rule. Are you ready for this? It's the only rule you need to remember from this show tonight. If you're going to go into a contractual relationship, and you might even say it's for marriage too, is that you want to partner with somebody that complements you. She complimented me. This is a joke, but I was not good at accounting. I thought that was really cool. She was. I was all about having a lot of fun, and she was about keeping me in line. I was all about working all night long and doing all the things, and she was all about accepting me, right? I got distracted with too many things, but she was laser focused on so many things, and she brought me right back to where I needed to be. I was running hard and making decisions and doing things, and she was right there to support me and forgive me and give me another chance. There's so many different things I did stupid in my business life and she was right there being forgiving. And I was there for her every time she needed me, any second, with any of her business life, any of her child rearing situations with 3 crazy girls, right? So why would you marry somebody that can't complement your personality traits, your physiological traits, your life traits? Why would you go into a business and bring on a partner that doesn't do anything differently than you do? The number one thing in doing a business is you need to understand that in that business, you're the only one that can count on you. You're betting on you. The banks are betting on you. They're not betting on themselves. And so when you make partnership decisions, I'm great at ideas. I'm pretty damn good at marketing. I'm good at working hard. I'm good at talking. But Bob Lang is amazing at taking my money and my finances and organizing it in perfect silos to make everything work just right. Heather David is even better than me at running companies and aligning them and operationally making them moving, right? She's way better than me. But she wasn't my partner, my contractual partner. She was my what? She was my non-contracted partner. Now, we're going to get to the last one here pretty quick because I didn't really think I'd have this much, but I'm having so much fun. So we got the contracted partner. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to final number 3. Now, remember, number 2, never take a partner on that doesn't compliment you or doesn't do something that you can't do better than you. Because that's the value. You can say, well, I need money, and that's why I took a partner on. Well, he's clearly doing money better than you because you needed his money. And he deserves a piece of that pie because he's bringing money to the game. Because he can do money better than you, or he can provide money better than you. If you could get money, you could get it from the bank, and they're not technically a contractual partner in how to run your business. You just got to pay them back. So if you can't use a bank, but you can do everything else, but you need money, and the guy down the road's got $1 million, he gives you the money, he's a partner. Pretty damn clear how that works, right? All right, so we got non-contract partner, we got contract partner. Really what this entire show is about, this third one, I'm excited to get to you because we're going to talk about Heather again, and it is the third one, build a partner partnership. And so this is the one I'm really most excited for, and we're going to close this out here, is that we have a non-contracted partner, which we've established as employees and people in your life that are growing gains with you together, that are working for themselves and their family, but have mutual interest in you. And so you treat them just as if they're partners. And number 2, you have a contract partner, which is your wife or your husband that you signed a contract and you became married and you said, till death do us apart. And then there's this guy that you bring on as your partner in one of your companies, and he signs a document and gives you money and he becomes a partner. And then you say, till death do us apart, or you buy me out or I buy you out. Right? So we got that. So the last thing I want to talk about is build a partnership. So let's go all the way back to the beginning of the show when I talked about me being an entrepreneur, because I want you to understand that if you're more of an entrepreneur, even if you're already in a business, probably the best way to build a partner is exactly the way I built the 3 best partners I have in my life. Number 1, we've all saw this. My sweetie pie, number 1 partner in my life. She was my partner non-contractually, and we dated for 5 years. And I figured out that A, I loved her, and B, she fit into my mind and my world, and she complimented me. And I said, well, actually, I never asked her to marry me. That's a long story, but we got married because we knew we loved each other, and we signed a marriage certificate contract. My next 2 partners came a little differently. Now, as our marriage grew, our businesses grew, and she became a business partner with me too, because she's complimented me all the way through life in that regards. But the next partnership was contractual partnership, and I wanted to talk to you that I just didn't do a lot of contractual partnerships. I've never actually went into a business with a partner and their money, and we put it together and we made something work. And I don't think that's for everybody. I just don't do well with that. But what I do well with is build a partnership. And that's what I did with my wife. And I'm not saying I knew what I was doing back then. I really didn't. I loved her, but I realized she could put up with me. I realized she fit. She was able to forgive me for the way I acted sometimes, and she celebrated with me for the way I acted it sometimes, and she genuinely loved me, and she really did bring a different aspect to the business mindset that we built right away, the accounting side of things, and I was the sales side of things. So I don't think you should run that down at all. I think you should understand it. But when it comes to building a partner in businesses, I want to talk about Heather David. Tracy and I built this business, and we brought her in 2015, 16, something like that. But we knew right away that she was amazing. And so we started pouring time into her and efforts into her. And over 10, 11, 12 years, it just became almost impossible to think about life in the business world without this person. Although Heather was very good at creating workarounds for her gift mix, but we knew that we were so much better with her than we would ever be without her, that we've made her a partner, a contractual partner. We picked her, we helped build her, and then we made her a contractual partner. That's how people like me and other entrepreneurial mindsets can look at this. Sam Fessenden, another great example of an extremely amazing man. I started working with him 25 years ago, and we were selling together, and I was teaching him some PEO stuff, and he lived in Elkhart, and we did things, and we became friends. And then the day finally came, and I was fortunate enough that he wanted to work with us in PayServe, and he jumped on board with no commitments whatsoever. But I knew deep down inside, man, this guy would be a great partner if we could just bring him in and he could work through some things, because he can do so many more things better than me, just like Heather. Heather's an operational genius, and Sam is a sales genius, and he had the aptitude in this new software. And so when we brought him in, we worked with him, and after 3 years, he became a partner, a contractual partner, not a non-contractual partner. So not only did Tracy become a contractual partner in marriage, but Heather became a contractual partner in business, in legal ease, the entire deal. And Sam did the same. He's a contractual partner. And so the things I wanted to challenge you with is, one, who in your life is your non-contractual partner in business or in life? Who in your life are you contracted with until death do you part? Whether it's a wife, a husband, a partner, a business partner, it's the same damn thing. Who have you signed on the dotted line with to give your blood, sweat, and tears to for a common goal? And then more importantly, who in your life right now would you like to be a partner with? Who can you build your relationship with? Who can you show them what you know? How can you train them to actually be a succession process for you? You have to have someone in your mind. Even if you're a small business, we don't always just sell our companies. It's just not that easy. And a matter of fact, you're better off creating a company that's a succession plan that's giving you revenue than it is to just sell it out. That's a whole nother topic another day. Well, I guess what I'm going to say is I want to thank my sweetie pie for being the apple of my eye. We went surfing in the sky until we die. That's just a little rhyme I used to sing to my kids when we put them to bed. But she was my first partner. My first non-contracted partner. She was my first contracted partner, and she was also my first build partner. So who's your non-contracted partner? How are you treating your contractual partners? And who are you looking to put in your life to be your new build-up partner? And so that's where I'm at with Wired Differently. And I want to tell you, thanks for listening. I think it's been a good show, and I think we can talk about a lot of things. And I also want to encourage you to look at my book, Wire Differently, Drift Again. I think you're going to love the book. I know you're going to love the book. We've got a lot of media going on out there right now. Facebook, we're going to start running ads. And within the next month, we're going to be hitting it worldwide. We've actually sold over 500 books already, and we haven't done an official launch yet. And we talk about things like that. But in Drift Again, it's a spectacular book. It talks about 8 traits of supremely purposeful people, 7 good traits, and 1 bad trait. And that bad trait is we all do one thing the same that we're wired differently in common. And that is we drift again. We sin again. We repent again. And we go do it again. So that's me, Todd Saylor, Wired Differently. I hope you have a great night, and I hope you get a chance to watch this whole show if you didn't catch it all in full. I appreciate everything. And if you go to Wired Differently, www.wireddifferently.com, you can buy my book, Wired Differently, Drift Again. Type in the promo code 2wired1 and you'll get $2 off the book. And soon we'll be getting you the audio book with that purchase. So be checking for that. Anyways, I want to say thanks for all of you for sticking around. And again, let's do this thing called life together, wired differently. I'll see you next soon.